Yo, what's up, guys? In this video, we're going to look at the Thursday slate. It's a 12:10 Eastern Time start, a super early start. Kind of happy about that after had a lot of exposure to the Twins in the lineup, and that game got postponed, as you know, and wasn't expecting it, so I was kind of bummed by that. But not sure it would have made a big of a difference anyway, unless that stack really went off, because the Yankee bats that I had, I had Gleyber Torres and his 2 home runs, but Frazier did nothing, and Luke Voit did nothing. So, would have made too much of a difference, I don't think. But let's get ahead and talk about this slate. It's a 6-game main slate starting at 12:10 Eastern Time. So bright and early, especially for those West Coast people. We're going to look at the Vegas totals really quickly just because I want to point a couple things out. Most notably, the Phillies game in Chicago. Both teams have under four-run totals, even though the wind is blowing out a little bit. So that's kind of surprising, but I guess it's because Lester's been good and so has Nola, and the Phillies are much better against right-handed pitching with the power, with Hoskins' power, his reverse splits against righties, and Harper's power against righties. So against lefties, the Phillies can be had. And then we have a lot of wind here in Detroit. That's why the Tigers have like a 5-run total almost. That's one of the highest ones on the slate so far. So never been a fan of stacking Detroit, especially with this lineup. But if the wind's gonna be blowing out, the ball's gonna be carrying. I guess you can look at a couple of the cheaper guys if you need some value. But I really want to focus on this Red Sox game. I think this is where I'm gonna get most of my some of my higher priced guys in this game and the Yankees game. So the Yankees have hit 3 or more home runs in 6 straight games in Camden Yards, and there's a really good chance that'll continue today. With supposed to be 87 degrees in Baltimore. You have Dylan Bundy and his 11 home runs that he surrendered already. He's been really bad with the power and the fly balls, and the Yankees lineup has been really, really good as of late. So Yankees top stack, and then I like some Red Sox and Blue Jays. So starting off at pitcher, we saw that low total for the Phillies. That's why I'm going to go with John Lester as my first guy at 8,300. He's been really good this season. He has 42 Ks and 43 innings. His last couple of games, he's given up a ton of hits, 10, 9, and 8. So that's a little concerning. But maybe that was just a little bit of a fluke. But besides that 5-run game that he gave up last game against the Nationals, he hasn't given up. That was the same amount of runs he's given up all season. Before that Nationals game, he gained up 5 earned runs in that one. And if you combine all the starts from the 28th to May 12th, that's 5 runs. So he's been good. He's been able to work around damage if he gets into it. He also doesn't walk really anybody, just 9 walks on the season. And he's been good with the home runs, just 4 home runs and 43 innings pitched. So I feel like he's a good play today at 8,300. And then I'm going to go with Steven Matz at 7,300. So Matz as well has been really good this season, except for one start against the Phillies, which he gave up 6 earned runs. If you take that start out of it, his ERA is in the low 3s. He's been good with the strikeouts, 38 Ks and just 38 innings. He hasn't pitched a ton of innings so far this season, which I guess is a good thing. But he's been really good in Citi Field in his 3 starts. He put up 21, 25, and 24 in Citi Field. He's been bad on the road, and that's something you would expect out of him. Pitching in Citi Field, it's a great ballpark to pitch in. And this Nationals team is just, as a whole, it's been a disappointment. They are decent against lefties with a couple guys like Rendon's really good against lefties, and so is Trey Turner. But as a whole, the lineup and their record and everything speaks for itself. They're not a great team, well, especially with their offense struggling and being injured a lot. So I feel like Matz can have some success with his success at home. So that leaves us with 4,300 left for the bats. Second base, I'm going to go with Gleyber Torres because he's been absolutely smashing the baseball. 2 more home runs last night, so he has 4 home runs in his last 3 games. And he's had 2 home run games in his last 6 or 7 games, 7 or 8 games. So since May 15th, he's had 3 2 home run games. Hitting in Camden Yards seems like it's a great park to hit in for him. And it's a tremendous matchup here against Dylan Bundy and his struggles against right-handed power. So Gleyber Torres is expensive, but with the Yankees being the highest, probably gonna have the highest total on the slate, and with it supposed to be scorching hot in Baltimore, I like Torres here. At third base, lots of guys you can go with, lots of guys that are priced up, like Rendon against a lefty. Michael Chavez has been hitting the ball really well. He's gonna get to face Bijani And then you're going to get to face a lefty, and Clayton Richard is going to pitch out of the bullpen, his first start of the season. And then we got like Arenado and Devers, who's been really, really good as of late. Like, really good. He started off really slow, and then he's been just on fire as of late. But I kind of like Vlad Guerrero. He's only $4,400. He's getting to face Weber here. And Guerrero has been really good we've been really good the month of May. He was bad, really bad since he was called up for the first couple of weeks. But now he's got his timing down, and he hasn't been striking out. So even when he was struggling early in the season, he wasn't striking out much. He only has 14 strikeouts and 73 at-bats. And as of late, he has just one strikeout in his last 4 games. So he's been good. He hit a home run last night. He's been hitting the ball really well. Lots of multi-hit games for him recently. And it's a good matchup here against Shane Weber. Ryan Weber. He's $5,900. He was really bad in AAA, but he had over a 5-run ERA and just 18 strikeouts in 25 innings. He's been pretty good when he's pitching out of the bullpen, but if they're gonna ask him to go a few innings, then he might get into trouble when he faces guys for the second or third time. So I feel like the Blue Jays are a pretty good stack here. It will be interesting to see what their total comes in at on the slate. But either way, I think Vlad Guerrero at third base is pretty appealing given how hard he's been hitting the ball as of late. And then in the outfield, I like David Dahl at $3,900. So Jordan Lyles has been really good this season, but Jordan Lyles has been struggling a bit against lefties. So that's where David Dahl excels. He's projected to hit third in the batting order for the Rockies here. $3,900 is really cheap, especially with DraftKings pricing being so tight. And it's very rare you find a lot of good value under like $4,000 for the outfield. But anyway, I was going to look at Jordan Lyles' numbers against lefties. So David Dahl has a platoon advantage here, obviously batting from the left side of the plate. He's been good against righties. And Lyles has a .424 slugging, giving up 2 lefties, and a .273 batting average this season. He's been pretty much lights out against righties with just a .147 average and a .253 slugging. But the Rockies do have a couple lefties like him and Tampia and Daniel Murphy. So that's the lefties are where I will be looking to attack. But if you look at the career numbers for Lyles, they've been a little worse against lefties, but I guess you can play him against both sides since his numbers are pretty similar. So I like David Dahl here at just $3,900. And then I'm going to go with the Yankee here in Aaron Hicks. So he's at $4,500. He's projected to bat in the top 3 of the batting order today. He's only played a handful of games, but we know, looking at his numbers over the season, over his career, he has a lot of power. He's been striking out he's only been 5 games or 6 games, but he's like a 20% K rate strikeout for his career. At $4,500, he's at a pretty good price tag, facing Dylan Bundy. With the injuries to Stanton and Judge still, he's still going to be hitting in the top 3 of the batting order, and he has a lot of power, and he's a switch hitter, so always had the platoon advantage. And with the weather and with the way Bundy's been pitching, Bundy's been pretty good as of late. But we know Bundy can unravel, and just with how good the Yankees have been hitting in Camden Yards, I feel like it's a good spot to go with them again. So that's pretty much it for the video. Just plug in my last guy here, the pitcher I just took out. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I like Lester, Matz, Torres, Guerrero, Dahl, and Hicks. These are still with $4,000 left to fill it out. But like I said, I'm really interested in the Yankee bats. And I'm really interested in some of these Red Sox. Didn't really recommend them, but if Martinez is in there, his numbers against lefties are insane this season. Because he's gonna get a face of lefty for probably 2 at bats here with Clay and Richard, and then Mookie Betts as well. He hasn't been the same player this season, but he's been pretty good as of late. And I kind of like Grichuk as well. He's been pretty cheap. If you're looking for a cheap guy that has power, just so much raw power, Grichuk crushes a fastball. And he has a ton of power. He's been really good at home since he's been a member of the Blue Jays. So yeah, those are the picks I would recommend. And Detroit, I mean, if you want to go with some of them with the high total, I guess it makes sense. Nika Goodrum, if he leads off, great play at just 3,700. And I kind of like Nick Castellanos just because he's a good hitter. Hasn't been great this season, but he's just a good hitter in general, especially against lefty. He's not facing lefty here, but he still gets a good matchup against Richards, and Richards has been a little reverse splits this season. So I feel like if I was going to attack any of the Tigers players, those would be my two favorites. But that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and good luck today.